Some of my landowning friends have talked to me about the Godder's vision I did concerning the spreading of industrial waste on the land, and they've talked to me about yields. Now, I'm going to try and make the point again, which clearly I didn't make very well last time, although I thought it was an extremely difficult one to miss. This hasn't got anything to do with yields. For every disastrous field, there is no doubt 20 fields which have increased their yield. This isn't the point. There is no implication in any way that this is illegal in England. It isn't. It's part of an EU directive, the EU landfill directive, which is the point that I'm trying to make. Incidentally, it is illegal in most of the United States, and I gather it's illegal in Scotland, but that's not the point. Back in the Middle Ages, a lot of the towns and villages had effluent, human sewage running through open sewers through the middle of the middle of the town on a daily basis. The stench was appalling, and of course people were dying of bubonic plague, cholera, typhus, and Lord only knows what else. This continued until relatively recently, up into the 18th and 19th century, the Great London Stink, where the appalling lack of facilities to get away effluent industrial waste and sewage was landing us in all sorts of problems, and the last one was the Great Cholera epidemic. And people didn't know what caused cholera in those days. We do now, but we didn't then. Now, in 1918 we had the Great Flu epidemic, and still to this day nobody knows what caused it. The point I'm trying to make, and it isn't a difficult one, the reckoning will come. We do not know what is going to happen by spreading industrial waste and human sewage, not just on the land, but leaving it to fester in mountains by the roadsides for months and months on end. The point I'm making is, sooner or later it's going to end in some form of disaster, and it'll be years before we work out quite what the disaster is or where the problem came from. It's getting into the food chain. The sheer stench of it, it can't be right. There's been no debate about it. It's an EU directive. This system has gone straight into the European rural community without any cost-benefit analysis, without any debate. All I am saying, and again I say it isn't difficult, we need to be thinking more carefully before we mess around with Mother Nature in this way. This stuff isn't compost, it's industrial waste, and sooner or later it will bite us in the arse.